Howdy, howdy, and welcome to June 19th, 2024. Juneteenth. We'll explain that coming up a little bit later on. But some of the governmental offices are closed today. And I don't think there's mail service today, if I'm not mistaken.
Most local, state, and federal offices are all closed today.
Yes. This is the most recent federal holiday, if I'm not mistaken, there too. So welcome to the show. I'm Dan Ramey. He's Mike Smith. Mr. Hand 2, a.k.a. known as Aaron Glandon. The Pickaway County Fair bound Aaron Glandon. Haven't decided if he's going out today or tomorrow. But you just need to go when it's hot.
Well, it's going to be any day this week. Take a lot of water with you. You'll need it.
A lot of water.
You might be pouring more on yourself than you're drinking. I don't know.
I can see him going through where they wash the hogs and everything and spray them down. I can see him doing that just to cool off.
I've heard pouring water on yourself doesn't actually help.
Well, that doesn't make sense because you perspire. That's God's way of cooling the body off, so that wouldn't make any sense at all. Yeah.
But if you're in heat stroke, it's a different story. That's where you have to get ice around you and the whole deal.
Right.
So it is almost summertime, but it feels like summertime.
Certainly. Not even summer.
Yes. Coming up in a moment also, we're going to talk live with a former colleague of ours, Matt Bruning, who is out and about with the super load number 12 today. So that's coming up in just a bit. But first, let's get back on the weather. What's shaking here today?
Ditto from the 2 days before. Excessive heat advisory in play again for today, actually through this weekend. The actual mean temperature is 90 today, but the feels like, or heat indices, or heat index, however you want to put it, is going to be 100 each day this week. And don't be surprised if a thunderstorm pops up. It's not one of those fronts that moves through, but it happened on Monday. We didn't get any rain yesterday, but we could see it when we were coming back from Washington Courthouse last night. You could see these tall thunderheads and lightning in them. And I looked on my radar, and it was Huntington, West Virginia, but you could see that far away.
Yeah.
So some people got one of those pop-up storms yesterday. So.
All right, so coming up in a moment, we'll talk about things going on across our community. Details are on the way, but first, let's tell you about Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. If the AC's not working, you are probably calling somebody. Well, we hope you call Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor. Click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com. It takes you right to their website, Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
It's time to get serious about your lawn. It's time to step up to the best mower brand money can buy. For nearly 4 decades, Skag has been the easy choice for lawn care professionals. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best when it comes to mowing your lawn. There's sure to be a Skag model that's perfect for your yard, big or small. Make your lawn the envy of the neighborhood. Visit your local Skag dealer today. Skag, simply the best.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
I say I'm going hot, and then Mike says, don't say that word.
Don't say that word today. Yeah.
That means the microphones are live.
Yes.
Coming up in a moment, we'll visit with Matt Bruning. Haynes Total Health Care Center is celebrating 50 years of serving the chiropractic, physical therapy, and nutritional needs of our community. When you click on this ad, anywhere you see it on our website, littermedia.com, it takes you right to HaynesHealth.com. That is their website, where you can learn yet even more. You can find along the news that we're going to share with you. You can find it on our website, littermedia.com, but Also through our social media pages, we've been sharing some of the photos from Superload 12 making its way through. You can find that on our Facebook page. And, of course, we entered in a little more about our buddy Tom, isn't that horrible? Tom Beard. I started to say Tom Browning, but Tom Beard, where you can hear some of the broadcasts that we did this past basketball season with Tom, and one football broadcast that is in there as well. All right, but first, let's take a look at what's making news for us today.
Well, of course, the weather, talking about hot weather, and a lot of the health departments in our area, including this post by the Fayette County Public Health over in Washington Courthouse, reminding us that you need your body's ability to cool itself, and in a challenging way sometimes when it gets this warm. When your body heats too rapidly, or when you get too much fluid or salt is lost through dehydration or sweating, you may experience a heat-related illness. Stay weather ready by learning the symptoms of excessive heat exposure and the appropriate responses. And you can see posts like this that Fayette County put out in almost every county health social media over this week, telling you much of the same thing. A lecture on the women who ran Adena Mansion in its residential years will be featured at Adena Mansion Gardens July 14th at 2 p.m. During Adena's 139 years of occupancy as a home, 1807 to 1946, there have been 4 women who each in her own time could be called the lady of the house. Well, to learn more about this lecture with Mary Ann Brown, who is the expert on Adena Mansion, check that out on our website, story@littermedia.com.
Tomorrow in Pike County, there's a special event filled with insights on workforce development, marketing, grants, and 0% interest loans at the Ohio State University Endeavor Center on Shyville Road in Piketon. That's from 9 until 3 p.m. They'll have panel discussions, a keynote speech, also interactive sessions and networking opportunities, all designed to help you build a stronger business foundation and grow your network. Unearthing the past. This takes us to a little activity out at Hopewell Culture with Ranger Candace. From her talk, you can expect to learn about glaciers, how they impact an environment, how raw materials like rocks and minerals are formed, and how these raw materials were used and shaped by Native Americans 2,000 years ago. You'll also learn the basics of Hopewell Earthworks and a bit about each of our park's earthwork locations. Stop by the Mound City Group Visitor Center any day at 1 p.m. now through August 4th to catch one of the porch talks covering a wide variety of topics led by the Rangers. Each Ranger's talk will be unique and an opportunity to learn more about Hopewell culture.
As Dan mentioned, we got an update now on our colleague Tom Beard's funeral arrangements. That will be coming up Monday, June the 24th. Calling hours at Open Door Church will be from 1 to 6 p.m. with a celebration of life service there as well at 6:30. Open Door, of course, is on South Bridge Street in Chillicothe. Private burial will take place at the convenience of the family following cremation. You can get additional information like the obituary, which was not on there early this morning, but keep checking back to the Howler Funeral Home website and they'll get that posted possibly sometime later today.
We appreciate this fellow joining us for our road report live, and we're talking with Matt Bruning, the press secretary for the Ohio Department of Transportation. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Fantastic. Much better than you, because I would think I was going to bed about the time you were getting up down in Piketon, getting ready for this move to make its way through Chillicothe today.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, the earliest morning was Sunday, Father's Day. That was I think I met one of the guys from our permit hauling section, Mike Moreland, at 3 o'clock in the morning over at the park and ride at 207 and 23. So that was a long day, but this one was a relatively short day. We've already parked Superload number 12 north of town or across the road from the fairgrounds. And so we were done for the day, and we'll pick it back up again early tomorrow morning to head to Pickaway County.
And, of course, that's my old stomping grounds. You'll be going through Skunk Holler before too long, I'm sure.
Absolutely. It may take us a little while to get there because it's going to be a slow day going up 104 with a lot of the curves and the hills and the overhead obstructions that they'll have to deal with. But we will eventually get to Skunk Holler. I will try to get you a photo as it does pass through there. And then it'll make its way to State Route 762 where it will cross 23 and head on over to Asheville Pike north up to Rickenbacker, and then it'll park there for the day.
You know, many times they said when I was a kid that having a traffic cam right there at 316 and 104 would have been extra special.
One of these days, we very well may. You never know. There are more than 1,100 of those on ogo.com, and so one of these days, we may end up firing up the skunk color cam. You never know. I'll let you know first, though, when I find out.
Matt, this particular load, you've told us in your post that it weighs 916,000 pounds. Is this going to be the largest of all of them, or are there bigger ones coming?
Yeah, no, this will be one of the largest. There are 4 of these most massive super loads, I guess, if you will, for lack of a better term. And then we've got several more of the, I guess, by relative comparison, smaller super loads that will be yet to transverse the area. So, yeah, these next 4, this one and the next 3 are going to be the biggest ones. And we're trying to, we waited till now to move them because we were trying to get them through while school is out. That has always been our biggest concern with moving these is the impact to school traffic, especially down on US 52, where there really aren't many good alternates to get around. Whereas you get up here, if you can't use 104, you can easily use 23, or there are a variety of alternate routes you can use, whereas down there aren't.
What kind of impact does a weight load like this have on asphalt roads?
Very little, actually, because the weight is distributed so well. There are actually 172 tires on this particular load. And so you are distributing that 916,000 pounds out across all of those. It really doesn't have a tremendous impact like you might think it would. Certainly there are bridges, for example, that we limit the traffic on the bridge to just this load going across. So there were several times today along 23 where the highway patrol would stop southbound traffic in addition to northbound traffic so that the only vehicle on that structure is the super load itself. But outside of that, there really aren't many other things that we do to try to mitigate any of the weight just because it's so well distributed.
I know a lot of testing was done and research done with each of those overpasses and bridges and everything. Are you, once one goes through, are you going back and double checking just to make sure everything's cool?
There are a couple of locations where they did just for that reason, just to make sure that we're A-OK and that nothing occurred, and happy to report that everything has continued to pass with the flying colors. So that's certainly good. But yeah, we're always constantly keeping eye on things. There's, the real folks doing the work here are the haulers. Edwards is the hauling company, and they have, these bucket truck folks from 2 different companies, U.S. Utility and Thayer, that are doing the lifting of the lines and different things, but that's all coordinated by Edwards. ODOT's role in this is helping to plot the route out to make sure the infrastructure can handle this kind of a load, both in weight and width and in height. And then we issue the permit once everything checks out and we're satisfied that everything's safe and everything's up to snuff. And so we have crews that are escorting this at all times. So if something looks funky to us, we'll take a look at it real quick and real close. And if there's further inspection that needs to be done, we can call for that in real time.
So this is hanging out right now at the Ross County Fairgrounds or near the fairgrounds. I know the people get an up-close look at this if they're traveling and they've been impacted by watching it go by. But can folks go out and take a view while they're out at the fairgrounds?
Would prefer that you not stop on the side of 104 and walk over to it. But certainly, I think if you've got a passenger in your vehicle that's willing to grab a camera or your phone as you drive by and take some pictures, you can certainly do that. There is a gravel pull-off on the side of State Route 207 that I guess would be about the safest place to stop if you wanted to stop and take a picture. But I would not advise anybody to walk up to it or get too close to it. Just try to take your pictures from afar because obviously we don't want anybody to get hurt. Safety is the top priority as this thing moves, but also as it sits. So we want to make sure everybody's safe and can view it from a safe location.
Yeah. And what's the projected time frame, Matt, for the last of these super loads to come through this summer?
as it stands right now, it would be sometime later in the fall. We don't have even the next load completely locked down on scheduling, so we'll have to wait and see. A lot of that's contingent upon when crews are available from the Highway Patrol and when the crews for the utility companies are available. So all of that is worked in, and it's a challenge, trying to get everybody on the same page, make sure you've got enough of everybody that you need to make this go, because it's a lot of coordination, a lot of teamwork out there. So we have not yet scheduled out beyond even the next one, but the next one won't go until at least after the 4th of July holiday. So that's when we'll move out again.
We better get the Erie Canal cleaned out again.
Yeah, it's funny. We've had a couple of people suggest, like, well, why don't you just bring it all the way up on barge? And I'm like, I don't know if you've seen the Scioto River lately. It's not really a navigable waterway, so that's not going to work. Getting it to Adams County was about as close as we could get it, and then the rest of the work has to be done on the highway.
Gotcha.
And I know you're mostly responsible for everything that happens from that point in Adams County up to Columbus, but do we know how long it takes for this to make it up the Mississippi, and how does that factor into your preparedness once it reaches the Ohio River there at Aberdeen?
Yeah, there were a lot of conversations about that. That does factor into scheduling. There was one point, and I'm trying to remember, it was last summer when the water levels on the Mississippi were record low. There were a couple of times where it was like, when is this thing going to get to the dock there in Adams County so that we can start planning for when to move it on land? And we just didn't know, because it was kind of, I won't say it was stuck in New Orleans, but they just didn't know when they were going to be able to move it. So, yeah, there is that. But it did come in overseas. It came in through New Orleans, up the Mississippi, up the Ohio. And then there's a gentleman who has a dock site. It's about 8 miles to the east of Manchester, and that's where these are offloaded. And I've had a lot of people ask, can we go see it get offloaded and things like that. It's all private property, so there's no way you can. And there are a lot of trees between where that happens and US 52, so there's really no way for anybody to be able to see that activity, unfortunately.
But we just happened to see the photo of you running up Route 23 down by Scioto Trails with that goofy look on your face. We've been running these pictures that you took earlier today while you've been talking. And this has had to have been one of the coolest things you've gotten to do in your career.
That's one of the funny things they say, I've never had a job where I haven't had fun. And it's amazing that they even pay me to do this, because it's just so much fun. And you're right. This has been, I was telling one of the guys today, I said, this has been a top 10 week already in my career, certainly at ODOT. It is interesting. And sometimes you have to pinch yourself. You kind of take it for granted, some of the cool things that we do at the Ohio Department of Transportation. I know everybody thinks, snow plowing and orange barrels for the most part. But this organization and this agency does a lot of different things. Special hauling permits being one of them. That is just kind of not the normal thing you would associate with ODOT. And getting to be a part of that, that's pretty cool. So this has definitely been a fun endeavor here as these things have moved north.
We've known Matt since he was, a freshman, sophomore in high school?
15 years old, I think. Yeah.
And Matt, I will be the first to say this. I know many of us feel this way. Quite proud of you and how you've progressed. And we had nothing to do with that other than helping you through the tough times.
I was
threatening to fire him once.
You two have had a lot to do with it. I learned a lot of lessons early in my career from you two gentlemen. So certainly give you a lot of credit, because all those little breadcrumbs along the path, are what lead you to where you are. So, you guys have seen some of my best times, and certainly a lot worse times in broadcasting. But it's been a fun trip, that's for sure.
Certainly. Well, you've made the state proud with your coverage. Thank you so much for your time today and letting us step in and get a little glimpse of what you've been experiencing.
Absolutely. And I would encourage people, make sure you go to transportation.ohio.gov/superload. You can find out all the details about the routes that is yet to come. You can also sign up for email alerts. And again, if you're heading north on 104 or you need to go to Columbus tomorrow morning, do not take 104. Avoid that like the plague, because it is going to be a slow, long trip up 104, and there's nowhere for us to pull over. So if you get behind this, you're in it to win it. So I would certainly use an alternate route tomorrow.
Very good. Thank you for your time today, and give our best to the family.
We'll do it. Thanks, guys.
All right. Our buddy Matt Bruning live on the celebrity cam. Yes, we can say it that way in that respect. That's, I tell you, the one area I am concerned with in Pickaway County is after you go through Yellow Bud and you get to those really tight curves right there on 104, just around, Canal Road? Right. In that area. That's pretty tight. Yeah. And there's a spot kind of like that as you get close to Skunk Holler, there at 316 and 104. But other than that, it should be a smooth sail, so to speak. But my brother lives up there still, and sister-in-law, and they are no doubt going to send me a photo or two as well, because they want to watch it go by. Yeah. All right. That's it for the news portion of our program today. Coming up, a look at sports. We'll tell you about the Paints and more, and this date in history on the way next. Scioto Valley Dumpsters, 740-253-8389 is the number to call if you need a dumpster for what you're doing at your residence or at your business. They can fix it up for you. Scioto Valley Dumpsters, 740-253-8389.
Our financial lives have never been more complex, and some decisions just can't wait, which is why our K&B Mobility app gives you instant access to the financial tools you need wherever you are. Get a clear picture of all of your accounts, check your daily transactions, receive account alerts, and much more. So no matter where you are or what you are doing, you can make the best decisions for you and your financial goals. Download our Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
Whenever I first applied for the ArchWiz opportunity, do I have to pay this back? Do I have to do that? Like, is it a loan? And it's not. It's a scholarship. A goal of mine is to graduate college debt-free. If you're a crew member, you get $2,500 a year, and if you're a manager, you get $3,000. And especially if you're going locally to college, like to the branch or something like that, it's really helpful.
I'm a busy woman, and I'm not ready to slow down.
Tiffany's hip pain was interfering with her career and active lifestyle until she came to the Adena Orthopedic and Spine Institute.
Dr. Meshbach told me about same-day surgery. I said, I want it now, and I wanted it yesterday.
After a successful procedure, Tiffany was home the very same day and on her way back to enjoying the community she calls home. At Adena, we do what we love, so you can too.
Time for sports.
We try to stay away from bad news, but sometimes we have some sad news, and we've got more sad news today. Say Hey Kid. Hall of Famer Willie Mays passed away yesterday at the age of 93. Willie Mays came up to the New York Giants in 1951 and hit a home run in his first at-bat. He was drafted into the Army a year later and missed 2 seasons due to the Korean War. When he returned in 1954, he had such a great season that he won the National League Most Valuable Player of the Year award, and they beat the Cleveland Indians in the World Championship. If you've ever seen the over-the-shoulder catch he makes in the Polo Grounds off Vic Wert's bat, that was in that series in 1954, and it was a momentum changer. But Hall of Famer Willie Mays, gone at the age of 93, but not forgotten.
Had a nice song written about him. I had forgotten that he finished his career as a New York Met.
New York Met.
Yeah. So
I think the stadium where the Giants play now is on Willie Mays Way.
Is that right?
And I didn't realize this because I'm not a big Giants fan now, but on May 24th each year, it was Willie Mays Day.
24th of May.
Yeah.
Why not?
Makes sense.
It certainly does. Chillicothe Paints picked up a win again last night, and look at this guy. If you have followed the Payne Valley Bearcats over recent years, no, this isn't Cruz McFadden, it's Brock Blanton. And that is his first game appearance since injuring his leg against the Tennessee Volunteers. He pitches for Eastern Kentucky University, and he took a line drive off of his leg. It broke his leg, and so he was unable to really get back into play for EKU. But now he's with the Chillicothe Paints, and that's his first appearance, and he recorded the last out to wrap things up against the Thrillville Thrillbillies. A final there of, 11-4?
11-4.
11-4. So back at it again tonight. They've got Dairy Queen Cool Treats Night tonight. So when you get there, you get a cool treat for the first 500 fans. And it's also Valero Winning Wednesday. And I'm bringing this up because when I was pulling into town today, I saw that the Valero on South Paint Street's getting new gas pumps installed.
Wow.
It looks really nice. So, and I don't think they've made the change since they became Valero. Because they were like 76, 20 years ago when they were installed there. So congratulations, but enjoy yourselves at a Paints game tonight. The Rex Baseball from Terre Haute will be here the next 2 nights.
I was trying to think. We used to do a segment with Dave Blanton, Brock's dad,
right?
Certain days of the week at 7:30 in the morning.
Was Wednesdays with Hernstein.
And we probably heard Brock in the background yelling at Dad for breakfast or whatever when he was just a kid.
I'm sure Brock would say that was my little brother.
Yeah. So a lot of memories there. Hey, the Reds even their 3-game series with the Pirates last night, a 2-1 win, and they will wrap up that 3-game series in the Steel City this afternoon. I believe that's a 12:40 game time. Something around there. So go Reds. Pirates and the Reds are right there neck and neck. I think Pittsburgh is a game up on Cincinnati. Of course, Milwaukee's way ahead of everybody.
Well, now Pittsburgh's in last place of the Central Division. No. Chicago is.
Because they were 2 games under 500 going into the game last night, and the Reds were 4 under.
Reds and Pirates are tied. And the Cardinals.
They're a game back.
The Cardinals are in second place.
They'll get it right here.
So.
Yeah.
I looked at the standings last night before going to bed.
Well, you must have been sleepy or something.
Milwaukee had not played yet.
Well, I was looking at the Pirates record.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All righty.
But at any rate, it is like neck and neck between last. Because remember just what, was it 5 days ago? The Reds were in last place. Then they went to second place. And the Cubs have been back and forth. The Pirates have been back and forth. And now the Cardinals have leapfrogged everybody. And everybody's trying to catch the Milwaukee Brewers.
Very competitive. I think the Reds' best record this season. It was 4 over 500. They got to be 10 under. They got back to within 1, then lost a couple. So hanging in there.
Guardians took one on the chin last night, 8-5, falling to the Mariners, and that's something everybody wants to do, get into the waiting pool.
You know, I saw a meme, or not, wasn't a meme. Actually, it was a graph that showed how hot asphalt can get. And they were talking about it because of dogs.
Yeah.
Their paw pads on that hot asphalt or concrete. So keep your dogs in mind during this hot spell as well. NHL Stanley Cup playoffs still going. Right now, they're after Game 5 last night, the Oilers fended off elimination with a win over the Panthers. That was a 5-3 score. Panthers are still up 3-2. I believe I heard that Game 6 in that series is in Edmonton on Saturday. So NBA's done, but the NHL is still going.
Sergei Bobrovsky, he has the opportunity to say, we win it. It's by stopping all those other shots by the Oilers.
Former Blue Jacket, making it to the big time. In the Stanley Cup, that is.
Just ahead, this date in history. Standing by next.
In the meantime, we want to tell you about the fine folks at Litter Quality Propane. They've been serving our area of southern and central Ohio for 92 years. Reliable supply, reliable service, reliable people. Litter Quality Propane.
Discover Ross County. From the breathtaking outdoor adventures to the historic sights of Chillicothe and family-friendly events and festivals. Explore more at visitchillicotheohio.com or download the free mobile app today.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652. Each week, Litter Media presents the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Player of the Week. If you have an athlete to nominate, any amateur athlete is eligible. Simply visit littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. At the end of the year, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Make your nominations now at littermedia.com. Click on Player of the Week.
Are you looking for a beer that satisfies your thirst and love of country? Armed Forces Brewing Company brews beer for patriots. Celebrate freedom with every sip. Armed Forces Brewing Company. Freedom never tasted so good.
Time for this stage in history, and we take it back to the 1800s.
The reason why it's a federal holiday today, it's called Juneteenth, but this comes from 1865 in what is now known as Juneteenth. Union soldiers arrive in Galveston, Texas with news that the Civil War is over and slavery in the U.S. is abolished. A mix of June and Juneteenth has become a day to commemorate the end of slavery in America. Despite the fact that President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation was issued 2 years earlier, a lack of Union troops in the rebel state of Texas made the order difficult to enforce. And that left it up to Major General Gordon Granger announcing General Order Number 3, which says, "The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connection hereto existing between them becomes that between employer and hired labor." I didn't include all of it, but if you go on, it says that slaves could remain on the property that they had been slaves on, but their masters now had to be employers and pay them for their labor. Mm-hmm. All back on 1865 is where this started.
I was looking through my Facebook memories just a moment ago, and I forgot that last night was the anniversary of the Cleveland Cavaliers winning this back in 2016, the NBA.
Oh, is that right?
Championship.
Wow.
And it was that night that I walked out my front door, stood on the porch. Of course, we live down in Pike County where there's nobody there. And I'm like, finally, something for Cleveland. You know, it was a pretty awesome night. And one of my favorite posts by my son, he said something to the effect, I'm paraphrasing here, "Cleveland finally won a national championship, and I got to see it with my dad." Or world championship, and I got to see it with my dad. So.
And that volume will probably be times 10 if it's the Cleveland Browns winning a Super Bowl.
I think I may start stocking up on fireworks.
The earth may shake at Dan's scream if that happens, yeah.
That would be awesome. Absolutely. Thank you, Matt Bruning, for joining us earlier today. And I just got word, if I'll not be here tomorrow because I'll be attending the Chamber of Commerce's World Heritage event for businesses. If you have signed up for it and you've not looked at your email here of late, they have moved the venue to the Majestic Theater due to the expected heat. So we appreciate the Majestic for opening that up. And if you are a member of Chamber and you want to find out more about how World Heritage can impact your business in a positive manner, it's falling in our laps here. May as well embrace it, right?
Yep.
And take advantage of it. You can find out more through the Ross Chillicothe Chamber of Commerce. Give them a call and they can fill you in. All right. That's it for the program today. Thank you for watching. And I want to take a moment and say thank you to the many people who have commented and sent well wishes to us personally, but also to those who have been family and friends of Tom Beard for many, many years and what he meant to everybody. Thank you. Those really help the healing. It certainly does. So, again, funeral services will take place on Monday at Open Door. So just wanted to pass that along to you again. So until next time, thanks for watching another edition of Litter Media Live.